Good afternoon. This is a here. Just a second. Okay, good afternoon. This is a hearing of the Chatham Conservation Commission being held on March 11th, 2026, in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Chatham Wetlands Protection Bylaw and Regulations. My name is Karen Lattin, and I serve as the chair. Please note, the meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, including the use of AI note-taking apps, please notify the chair. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025, signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Conservation Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 972-638-430#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the list in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. To all participants, whether attending by phone or online, please remain muted unless you've been recognized by the chair. When recognized, please identify yourself for the record. If you're attending by phone, you can mute and unmute by using *6. If you are online and you are not a commissioner, please keep your camera turned off unless you have been recognized. Indicate that you wish to speak by using the raised hand feature. So that we have a quorum, I will now ask each commissioner to indicate their presence. Vice Chair Paul Johnson.
Present.
Janet Williams.
Present.
Elise Gordon.
Present.
Eric Hilbert.
Present.
Bob Delvecchio.
Present.
And I'm here, so we've established we have a quorum. Is there anyone who would like to make any announcements, comments, or future agenda items for anything other than the properties on the agenda today? I am not seeing anything online, nor here. Commissioners, anything? Nope. Okay. Before we begin the agenda, Bradford, are there any announcements for any continuances today?
Yes, there's one continuance request for the discussion on irrigation systems.
Okay, great. Thank you. At this point, Bradford Bauer, Chatham's Assistant Conservation Agent, will now lead us through the agenda.
Okay. First up, we have a order of conditions for 202 Lime Hill Road, Lime Hill 22 Trust, map 12E, parcel 4-B6, SE 10-3746. This project is for a proposed elevated catwalk, maintenance of existing path, and mitigation. It was continued from October 8th, 2025 and December 3rd, 2025.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I did receive your comments. Some of them I did not do.
Okay.
First, in the project and mitigation description, I did not change that because that is what is submitted when you apply.
Which was that?
You said there is a proposed path from the bottom of the slope traversing land and of the, I think,
Landward of the Salt Marsh.
landward of the salt marsh to reach the catwalk. I did not change that because, or cross out anything that you had because this is the original description
Oh,
that you had submitted. I did, under the special conditions, I did remove the shellfish abundance and location from special condition 6, which is the annual survey, that you asked to have it removed. The other things that you crossed off later in the order are all as applicable for the project, so I did not remove those because if they're not applicable, they don't pertain.
understand.
So,
Okay.
do you have anything else that you want to bring up?
I don't think so. All the plan dates match everything, right?
Yeah, my question is this changing at all, given that you have to redo things for ZBA?
We shouldn't have to redo anything for ZBA.
Oh, okay.
Just have to go finish that process, that's all. We don't intend on having to change anything at this point.
No? Okay.
Can-
Go ahead, Janet.
I'm sorry, just, because this was drafted before the ZBA hearing, so it felt
Right.
like things had changed from our perspective after that hearing, that they were not prepared to approve this plan, and that I thought the withdrawal, which is what you did, right?
I don't think so, no. We're back in front of ZBA in April.
They did not
Yeah,
withdraw.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
Madam Chair,
yes,
This is Bill Riley.
right.
We continued it, and because we wanted to get this order of conditions, and we're gonna go back and review the comments that the members made, along with the contents of this order, and hopefully they're gonna approve the application as presented.
So can I just ask, if you're not making any changes to what you've presented to us, nothing, and I believe at that meeting, they were told that we were going to an order. And that partially was because it was after ZBA, so it usually is contingent on ZBA approving, and we let them know that it was, it was in process for an order. If nothing's changing, how,
I wasn't there.
Well,
Bill can
Well,
answer.
okay, Bill,
Can I explain? Right, so one of the things that was happening at the zoning board of appeals is that some of the board members felt that this, what we're talking about should be available to all the members of the subdivision, which is effectively a grant of a property right, which is something that the zoning board of appeals, like the Conservation Commission, is unable to do. And
right,
so, so one of the things they said was, well, you're not providing much of benefit. But the thing that I think we're going to be pointing out to them, and obviously they vote the way they want, is the standard for approval for a special permit like this. Is it substantially more detrimental? Is what we're seeking substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than what would already exist? And so we're providing a lot of benefits which are highlighted in your order. And so our hope is that they'll approve it. If they don't, our option is to appeal the order to the court and get the court to review it, because we think that the design we have and the conditions which we're accepting with your order clearly does provide a significant benefit to this neighborhood. So I wouldn't be doing this unless I was an optimist. I believe that once we review all the changes, all the conditions in your order of conditions, that, we'll be able to get 4 votes to support the application.
Right.
Okay. There's also, in the order, I forgot to ask about this, I think it says, right now, it says that there's 1217 square feet of increased coverage in the NDZ. And we don't know in the outer aura, we could not find any numbers anywhere that said how much increase, decrease there was in the outer aura. So, I mean, we were sort of, I need to fill it in, let me put it that way.
Let's see, the mitigation is part of that number, right?
And we only have 954 down as mitigation. So I'm not sure,
Well,
because that's not enough mitigation.
the revised plan we sent you has 1,217 square feet of removal of invasives and restorative plantings.
In the NDZ.
Yeah, I read up to the top.
I'm asking the outer aura. We don't have any numbers. Is there any change in the outer aura?
Nothing- Okay,
No, all work and mitigation is on the coastal bank in the resource area.
Okay, so nothing is happening in the 50 to 100 at all?
all in the resource areas.
Okay. So we're confused by that.
We've been back and forth many,
954 of irrigation, and if it's in the NDZ, this is why we were really uncertain, and we had it highlighted when we sent it to you. But there was nothing that came back to us with any information. It's supposed to be 2 to 1 mitigation.
well, the mitigation would only be for the square footage of the catwalk. And then we started at 954, but then we increased it to extend to the property line. That's why it went to 1217. The catwalk's only 160. So it's more than adequate to cover the catwalk, and then the rest of it was to help the bank and remove invasives and replant the bank.
Right. All right, we don't have that spelled out at all in the order. Right now, I think the order is not correct.
I thought that the revised plan showed the note that with the inclusion of the side piece, the total mitigation was 1217, which is exactly the same as the impact. Is that right? 1 to
Yeah, because
1?
Well, it does say
Yeah.
the restoration, proposed removal of invasives and restorative is 1217, but we have down 954.
That was the original amount until
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
increased it to the
Okay.
property line. So 1217 should be that, 954 should be 1217, I believe.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
this is, we highlighted all the 954s, the 1217, looking for some guidance, but we
Oh,
didn't receive
I'm
it.
sorry, we
It's-
thought, we each thought the other was going to take care of that.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Karen, the
Yes, Bob.
finding one, the proposed project will result in an overall coverage increase of 1217. That should be 160, right?
I guess you could add the stairs in there, too. So the catwalk's 40 feet. There's steps to get up to it that are about 5 feet, maybe. So it could be 160, that's 4 feet, 180 feet. And then you probably should include the access stairs over the bank, which are another about 18 or 20 feet. So, and those are only, they're not 4 feet wide. They're 3 feet wide. So say 50 for the stairs that go over the bank, and then 160 for the catwalk, and then another 20 for the stairs that go up to the catwalk. So,
That's 230, I believe.
yeah, and 4 or 5 times that is 1217, so we're good.
Yeah, so finding one should read coverage increase of 230 square feet.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry that we didn't address it.
I think before we send this to a motion, I've heard rumblings within commission, nothing official. I think I'd like to do a straw ballot to see, as written, whether they support approving it, because the other option would be finding out when we send it to motion. Is that okay?
I'm happy with that. I'd rather know sooner. Yes.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. Some commissions don't do that. I appreciate it.
Okay. Bob?
I'd go along with it.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I would go along with it. I just wish that there wasn't the path was on the above bank, but unfortunately it cannot be. But other than that, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Elise?
I'm a no.
Janet?
No.
Paul?
I tend to go along with it, absent of an edict about catwalks in general.
Say again?
Well, until there's a moratorium on catwalks,
Right.
which we don't have right now, so I would tend to go along with it.
Thank you.
I'm not for it, so now we're split. And I never supported, I couldn't write this order because I wasn't for it. So now we're 3-3. And what do you want us to do? Do you want us to,
Why don't we continue it till after ZBA,
okay,
and you might have some more reinforcement for your decision.
okay, so.
Bill, are you okay with that?
I guess, you say you're a no, so can I ask what the basis of the no vote is for the 3 people who voted no?
Want me to go first?
Absolutely.
It's Elise Gordon, Bill. I watched and paid close attention to the ZBA meeting, and I feel like we're in a pickleball game here. But the thing that impressed me was the one neighbor who, I'm not going to remember his name, but he came up and his description of the neighborhood's willingness to share the catwalks that already exist was what impressed me. It was a very little thing, but it hit me that, have we really tried hard enough to get this area to not have a catwalk for every house? So that's what swayed me the other way.
I have similar objections, and I think I did articulate this at the last hearing, that I find that the application it fails to meet the test of avoiding and minimizing the impacts. You know, I'm on board with not having people walking and dragging kayaks through the marsh, and that an elevated, properly designed catwalk is the right answer to some of that. But this takes existing impacts and doubles the size of the impacts. Once you factor in the size of the path and the new length of the much longer catwalk than a catwalk installed in the location where people have already been accessing. And I know we can't grant any kind of property rights. That's not the issue for us. That's up to the applicant to figure out. I'll just point out, as I did last time, that there are shared catwalks all over town that people manage to manage them wisely. So, and my second objection is that I think it's been a long time since we've approved a permanent catwalk. I heard the descriptions about the impacts of taking it in and out, and the more I looked into that issue, the impacts of the shading from a permanent catwalk far outweighs the temporary impacts of one day putting it in and one day taking it out. So I'm done, I'm not going to approve a permanent catwalk.
And my issues are pretty similar. I have a problem with the amount of walkway, the pathway that's going to, between walkways. And I also feel that a permanent catwalk is not what we've in the past approved. It's always been seasonal and removed, and that really was the biggest point that bothered me, besides people walking all over to get to the various parts.
So if it was changed to seasonal, would that change two of your answers?
It would help.
Okay,
I still don't love the pathway.
I know, you have to get there somewhere, but, and the path will be in renewed vegetation, not the salt marsh. And we know that. It's landward of all of that. The regulations don't specify between seasonal or permanent, but I understand the preferences. And since I've done most of the catwalks, I think, they've all been seasonal. So I appreciate that. Professionally and respectfully, I disagree for the reasons I stated, that properly designed permanent is a once and done as opposed to,
Right.
but we've been through that argument before. So if you disagree, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I just don't want to set a precedent of, we've insisted on seasonal for years that I've been on, and I'm not ready to
Give that up.
give that up.
Well, I respect that. That's an easy change for us.
All right,
Madam Chair,
yes.
so the greater likelihood is that the one change that we're going to make between now and the next meeting we have with you is it'll be designed as a seasonal catwalk. So that's going to be our change, in that I would suggest that the denial of this design is in effect forcing a grant of rights for the neighbors, which is completely inappropriate. So, just so you know.
I understand, and I don't think we're forcing I don't think that was the impression we wanted to give. We cannot force somebody to allow their neighbors to use something that's their property, and we know that.
But you can deny it because it's not in a location where the neighbors can use it.
That's not what I said.
No, it isn't.
I don't think that's what anybody said, really.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it was stated that ZBA said that, but that was not.
well, I think that's just what Elise and Summers just said, and seems to me that you also agreed with that, so
No, what I said was that I agree that I'm not thrilled over the permanent catwalk and the pathway that is being used to go from one area to the other. That was my opinion. It just seems, I would rather see it straight down. I think it's less, yes, you are restoring that whole area, and wouldn't it be nice if it all were restored and nobody had to walk through it?
I get it. I think what Bill was saying, Elise, with all due respect, I think you started out by saying, by watching the ZBA hearing, that it was compelling to you that they didn't like the fact that the walkway wasn't shared, but neither board can vote based on that.
No.
And what I should have added to that, I tend not to do redundant comments, and I suspected that Janet and Karen were going to articulate what I had objected to previously, which was the more, I'll use the word appropriate, comments that they made relative to the catwalk and the permanence and the the location, the non-straight out. That was not my only reason.
Okay.
I was on the fence, so
But
apologies for that.
no, that's okay. That's why we're here. All right, so if we make it seasonal, that seems to, might be the nudge that would work. So, Bill, when are we back to ZBA?
April 9th.
I don't know offhand.
April 9th.
Okay. So should we continue to sometime after that?
Yes, why don't we continue to April 22nd?
Okay.
If we could have a motion to continue it.
I move that we continue 202 Lime Hill Road to the meeting on April 22nd, 2026.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, please, Bradford.
Next up is an order of conditions for 55 Sears Point Road. Ann Popkin, trustee, Chatter Revocable Trust, map 11A1, parcel X2, SE 10-3763. This project is to reconstruct an existing flat-faced revetment into a rough-faced revetment design, repositioning the northwest corner of the existing revetment, which has experienced significant erosion. This was continued from January 28, 2026.
Yep. Okay.
Me again.
I didn't receive anything saying that,
Teresa's here too. We had one correction, and this is just because it's a standard condition. It's mentioned, which one is it? Mentions the fiber rolls are installed at the base of the bank. And-
Sorry.
Yeah,
Good afternoon, everyone. Teresa Sprague with Blue Flex Design. D7 on the fiber roll array, it just says that any fiber roll array approved shall be placed at the existing toe of the coastal bank. In this case, it's going to be located above the rock revetment, so just wanted to clarify that. That's the only change.
okay.
Thank you.
and then we had one other question. There's a statement in here about reconfiguring the stairs. The stairs would be, we wouldn't touch the stairs unless and until we did Phase 2, which is not authorized by this order.
I'm trying to find it.
See if
I'll just jump in. It was based on the initial proposal that included Phase 2. And we kept that in there just because if you don't ask, you don't have any chance of getting. And so it was put in to see if they would consider that.
I see.
Moving not reconfiguring the stairs, just moving the paddleboard rack so that it doesn't overhang the marsh, forcing people to walk into the marsh to walk around it, which is damaging the marsh. Put it on the side and you'd be good, but I understand that that's not associated any longer with the first phase.
Well, if you leave it in, I would ask that you just put at the applicant's option or required during Phase 2. And that will carry forward when we come back. If they decide to do Phase 2, then that will carry forward into that.
But what if you don't do Phase 2? You still have a situation there with a structure that's causing damage to the marsh.
Yeah, I mean, the structure itself isn't, it's people walking around it.
Because
You
the
just have
structure
to hang
forces that.
We have to hang, the structure itself is fine, it's just
Right.
that
The
we
stairs
got to
are
hang the paddle boards a different way,
on the side of it rather than on the end of it.
or it could be under it.
Or under it, right, there's many different kinds of ways you can attach
Okay.
paddleboards.
All right, I just didn't, the stairs
wait a
have to
minute,
come
wait a
out if Phase 2 is done, the stairs come out. But but I think it's completely doable to say that the paddleboard rack should be reconfigured so it doesn't extend beyond the end of the existing stairs.
Yes.
And then I think.
Actually, just a minute.
Oh,
Have you considered the length of the paddle boards?
Bill, if,
So if you have them so that, wait a minute, if you have them so that they're running perpendicular to the shoreline, then they're gonna force people to walk out there anyway, because they're that long.
yeah,
In
in my.
other words, it's, right now, they're less intrusive than they would be if we hung them so that they're,
Parallel.
well, so that they're on the side that is as they say, perpendicular to the shoreline. I mean, right now, they're an annoyance. If you do it the other way, they're even more of an annoyance, because they stick out even further because of their length.
Bill, what I was talking about was to store them under the stairs.
But they're still going to stick out.
No, but put them parallel to the shoreline, parallel to the revetment.
You've got stairs that go down, Mark.
Oh,
I mean, it's not like it's a pier and you can stick them under. It's just, a way to place stairs so they don't intrude out into the marsh. I just don't see that we can accommodate Janet's concern by saying, oh, we'll hang them somewhere else, because they're still going to be in the way.
I think we have a technical problem here that we're not all seeing. Perhaps we can change this to say that, yeah, I actually have a photograph, probably better.
Does anybody want the
That.
pointer?
I stole
Mr.
mine from my
Keeper of the
cat, so.
pointer.
Oh, a little close up, maybe?
That's what it is, and so people have to go out.
We have the pointer, if you want it.
That's a good-looking pointer.
Yeah.
That works.
Oh, there, that works.
So down, the cross-section shows it as well, although it's not shown
Yeah.
on the cross-section. It doesn't have the second structure, which is the paddleboard rack.
If you put the watercraft underneath, don't you have to hop over and step on the marsh in order to shove it in there and take it out?
Well, you'd have to walk right in front of the stairway, but the marsh doesn't extend. There's enough room to walk in front of the stairway. So we could perhaps put them on the backside.
Hey, Bradford, can I share? I have a photo.
There's a photo. That's correct. Makes it easier to.
Oh, I'm not on anymore. Oh, yes, I am.
You should be,
No, I got dropped off.
on purpose.
Never mind.
Bradford, do you have the photos that were submitted with the application? Or I don't know if I took one of that area.
Give us a second, because these are continued hearings that.
Hang on, I can get back in. Hang on, I'll get it back. All right, I'm in.
If you find it.
I mean, to me, if they're off the ground, they're off the ground.
Under 5.
I think that's all we're looking
Here it
for.
is, here it is, okay. Here it comes. There it is.
Okay.
So it's two structures, really, right? Is there the stair? Ah, there you go, okay.
Okay, so I'm suggesting after looking at this, I totally get what
You have to be at the microphone.
Okay, try again. I'm thinking store them here, facing in and out.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right, because they're already stored at that same direction with relation to the stair. It's not going to change anything, just puts them behind.
And that's a long enough run, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only other way to do
Where
it.
are you proposing them? Look, all I'm looking at is the picture. I have no idea what you're proposing.
Oh, okay. Well, can you see you can see the picture. Can you see the laser pointer here on the shore, the landward side of the steps, and tuck them under?
Bottom steps.
you can't see the laser, it's not, but you can see where the cursor is there, too,
right of the
Yeah.
just under the stairs.
see maybe, put them here.
They're going to knock at you.
You're getting
They're
knocked.
going to knock
knocked.
as soon as you walk away. He's
Can't be in
saying,
two places at once.
he's saying, Bill, either the landward side of the lower steps, or were you saying the side facing, in the picture facing us as we look going down the first steps, the longer steps?
Yep.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, the longer steps, the first set, he's saying, it doesn't show on the screen for him. Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
Under here, going in and out, or under here, sideways, going in and out.
You're going to be knocked out again.
There you go.
Only be silent.
Right. I think it would also be possible to move that to the other side of the stair structure, the western side. 'cause
Then they
it's
would be
just-
this way.
Yeah,
No, they'd stick out, though.
maybe a
You're
little,
gonna have
but
to-
not like
you're
they
gonna
do
have to
now.
show- You're going to have to change the screen, because I can't see what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, because now it's got all of us there.
Can you see that, Bill?
No, all I can see is the picture.
oh, well,
Well, that's
Well,
right.
that's what we
what we're
want you to
looking at.
see.
Do you have a very long stick?
So, Bill, they're saying
Caroline's.
one of the longer
Don't,
parts of the steps going down or at the landward side of the lower steps.
See, the problem, I think, with the landward side of the lower step is that
They're not long
in
enough.
an extreme high tide, they'd be floating away, so.
Okay. Or put,
no, it'd be the same, at the same elevation they currently are, just on the other side of that, of the railing on the far side there. So you'd move it 90
There's no-
degrees, essentially.
You can't put them,
What?
you can't put them here.
You can't put them there, because all you've got is the 4 steps down. So,
They got to go under, which is low, he's saying, or you could put them under here, which get the bottom of
No,
them.
Yeah, you're gonna kill yourself trying to climb over the rocks
Yeah,
to pull
no,
up the
that-
watercraft out. So
Underneath
either that side or the
very
back
good.
side.
I don't think we want them on the revetment, standing on the revetment either.
So there's one other option. You could leave them where
Wait a
they
minute,
are.
so-
Hang on, Bill.
please would somebody please take the picture off the screen?
Yes?
Okay?
All right, thank you. So now that I can see your smiling faces,
But we can't see you.
He's on
oh,
his
well, I
phone.
can arrange that if you want. I mean, after all.
So there's one other area is, all
And he's
So here's
smiling.
right,
Yeah, of course.
Oh, never
I
mind,
love
turn it
being
off.
with you.
Yeah, no.
let me throw one other
Okay.
suggestion. Bill,
I
hang
have
on,
a
Bill.
thought. No, you hang on, Mark. So I have a thought that would accomplish Janet's goal here. We could put them on the west side. We would, they might have to put an additional support on the stairs coming down so that the leading edge of the boards would extend no further than the existing railing. So, I mean, because it looks like, there's enough room, so you can use the stairs coming down, the lower portion of it, anyway, as additional support for the boards, so that they wouldn't extend out past the southernmost railing.
Okay.
Good
So
idea.
Janet's typing, so let's see. Do you want to read what you've put and see?
Yeah, now it says, the existing structure across the revetment used for the storage of paddleboards protrudes into the salt marsh, causing damage to the marsh grasses by forcing foot traffic to walk through the marsh. It must be reconfigured to attach to a different portion of the stair so as not to extend beyond the southernmost railing of the stairway.
However we do it, then.
Yeah,
Okay.
not our place to tell you that, but
Anybody else have any modifications to this order?
Okay, well, paragraph 15 on page 11F talks about shellfish abundance and location survey.
Oh, yeah, same one as before.
okay,
So you want the shellfish abundance and location
we
out?
don't need that.
Yep, we're
Yeah,
taking
please.
it, okay, we're taking it out.
Yes, please.
Okay, anything else?
What is it, number 13,
In findings?
E13, E is in Edward, 13. It just says all rocks should have a cover of sand. And that,
Oh, Well, that's in the,
Fiber rolls will be covered, but there's no nourishment proposed for this.
Okay.
but that, of course, is as it pertains. It's not
Right.
to the order, so.
And I know, that's a special, that's a standard special
We are-
condition, as applicable, you know. we can-
Right.
Exactly.
That's all good.
And we
Doesn't
even
apply.
bold it ahead of time,
Understand.
so you see that it says only if applicable.
Yep. This is really small, but the first page is labeled 11B. It probably should be A.
That is nothing that we control. That's because something comes ahead of it. The header page comes in, and that's 11A. It's not, it's when it's filed, not now.
Oh, so it fixes itself, you're saying?
There's something that gets attached to the very beginning that's 11A.
Oh, because there's 2 pages 11C of what we read, but that's just pagination, that's all.
That is, but it is,
I
it
don't
does
see
start with B
two
because when it
Cs.
gets folded into the state permit, there's already an A, so it
Yeah.
follows that. But you're right, there's 2 Cs, and we'll see if we can figure out how to fix that.
Just a word thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
I've
All
tried.
right, no worries.
All right.
Bob, anything? Okay,
Not at this point, thank you.
okay. Anybody else?
Nope.
We can have a motion.
I move that we close the hearing on 55 Sears Point Road and approve the order of conditions as modified.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Just-
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
I just remind
Thank
you, you need to file a revised plan too, right? Basically, on
For
What?
when you need to file a revised plan?
For
The
what?
existing plan doesn't show that structure.
Oh, okay.
So it should be
Yeah.
okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, Bradford?
Up next is a field change request for 155, 157 Bridge Street, Eastward Companies, map 15B, parcel 1B, SE 10-3452. This project was for the demo of 2 existing dwellings and a pool, reconstruct both dwellings. The field change request is to change the orientation from the pool and reconfigure the patio area. This was continued from February 11th, 2026.
Okay. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, good afternoon. I'll let Susan start.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Susan Ledoux from Eastward Companies. We're just following up to answer the commission's question from the February 11th meeting. I believe I got the feeling from the commissioners that you were fine with the pool orientation change and the reconfiguration of the patio, as well as the decrease in the coverage in the 50 to 100. You did have a question about 75% native plants in the outer aura, so I took the question back to David, Clark, and Teresa. I'm going to turn it over to Teresa now. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So as Susan wrote in her letter to the commission, and David Clark pointed out that this is technically one property. So I know there was a question similar to what we had gone through with 47 and 53 Little Beach and 28 Stetson Cove, whether or not this needed to be separated. But it's actually one piece of land, and there are 2 houses on one piece of land, so it's technically all one property. So in total, on the site, we're planting 1,717 native plants as part of the overall restoration and mitigation, which wasn't technically required because there was an overall reduction in coverage on the site. But of that, that's 1,137 shrubs and 34 trees. So 25% of that in the outer aura would be 293 plants. My understanding is Andrew Garrelay had proposed 41 non-native shrubs in the outer aura in the foundation planting. So I think we definitely meet
Okay.
that requirement of greater than 75% native.
And I appreciate the explanation because I think I was the one, first of all, I had the concern of 2 properties.
Yes.
So I'll own that. And then the other part was that the landscape plan and your plan, we needed to know between the 2 plans, because
Yes.
they were both planting in the outer aura,
Yes.
that we were meeting that requirement.
Understood
So
entirely.
I very much appreciate that explanation.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions, comments? I think that helped a lot. So, nothing? Then I think we can go to a motion.
I move that we approve the field change request for 155, 157 Bridge Street as written.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon.
You too. Okay,
Thanks,
next
bye.
Bradford, please.
Up next is a field change request for 504 Old Harbor Road, Blue Heron Trust, map 16H, parcel PB, SE 10-3752. This is for the this project is to replace the foundation, additions, pool, cabana, and relocate the driveway and mitigation. The field change request is to rotate the location of the pool by 90 degrees. The addition of a small path connecting to the new door off the side of the house, and widen the path leading to the pool cabana with mitigation adjustments.
Okay, who do we have? Oh, there we go.
Good afternoon. My name is Pete Stevens. I'm with Dan Gordon Landscape Architects. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I'm here representing the Slipsky family at 504 Old Harbor Road. We came before you last season with a pretty substantial plan to adjust the location of existing house and create some additions. During the design process, we've developed the design a little further. We've added some planting, adjusted planting. We've also decided to rotate the pool. And so would you like me to share my screen so that you can see the plan?
Sure, thank you.
Great. Okay, sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the original plan. I thought I'd show you that first, with the pool in this orientation running parallel with the back of the house. None of the buildings have changed as part of this field change request. It's simply orientation of the pool and minor paving adjustments at the pool terrace. So this is what we're proposing, to rotate the pool. Most of the pool is still within the proposed patio area. We've moved the spa from this location to this location here. We've increased the paving in front of the pool cabana doors. The doors are now these big sliding doors that open. We've added a walkway here and a little walkway here within the outer aura to connect to these doors. There have also been some minor changes to just the shape of the stepping stones, etc. Very minor in nature. I can show you the original plan again here, which show those stepping stones going down to the lower paved area. We are proposing to mitigate the added impervious. There was a resulting added impervious for the changes to this layout and the added paving in these areas of about 600, a little over 600 square feet, I believe. Let me just get over here, sorry. That'll load. So we are proposing to increase the mitigation from what was previously about 5,200 square feet to 5,759 square feet, which is just over what was required for work in the outer aura. There are no changes to work within the NDZ other than this mitigation planting, which now provides a vegetated buffer strip along the coastal bank, as well as added over on this side above the coastal bank. And just in terms of planting revisions, mainly it was editing the planting throughout, and we've maintained the 100% native plantings within the NDZ and 75% native plantings in the outer aora. And then there was one other thing that I noticed when going through these plans. When we originally submitted, there's a wash station at this door to the garage, which we had shown on the plan but did not call out. So I wanted to identify that to you, that we do have a rinse station there, which is where you'd come up from the coastal bank, from the beach rather, and rinse off any sand, etc. And that is pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions?
The rinse station, it's hard to see. Is that in the outer aura?
It is, yes. It's just inside, just in the outer aura, pretty close to being outside the buffer zone, but
Okay,
basically located where, inside where the existing house was.
okay.
Yep,
Just wanted to make sure. It was hard to
Absolutely.
tell. Anybody have any questions, comments?
I do.
Go ahead, Janet.
Yeah, hi. So the original plan, that water, the water side edge of the pool ended with a retaining wall, right?
correct.
So the pool is now, when you reorient it, it's sticking out beyond the retaining wall. So what happens, what is out there beyond the wall? Does it become part of the wall? And if so, what is the height of that?
Yes, absolutely. So it was originally, let me just go to the original plan for clarity. So there was a retaining wall here originally. It's 2 feet tall.
Yep,
What's called an infinity edge spillway. So it's
Right.
about a 2-foot high spillway with a little trough at the bottom for the water to fall into.
yeah.
It's going to be the same in the rotated plan. Still a 2-foot wall on either side, and then a 2-foot drop in the spillway, and then planting in front of that of native grasses.
So even though you're going about, it looks like 6 or feet so beyond the original wall, it doesn't change the elevation, doesn't change the height of that. It's
Correct.
still only 2 feet.
Correct, and yeah.
Is that
and part of the
concrete? Is
reason
what is
we're-
that? Is that a concrete wall?
The wall would be a fieldstone wall, like a natural stone
Okay,
fieldstone. Yeah, we tried to maintain the 2 feet because anything over a 30-inch drop would have required guardrails. So we're trying to not need the guardrails, essentially.
Okay, I had one other question. The two plans,
course.
when you do the mitigation calculation, on the
Mm-hmm.
original, it says mitigation required provided 6,516. And on the revised, it says 5,759. So that on the plans, the mitigation is decreasing by, I don't know, 600. It's
No,
almost,
I'm sorry. So the proposed mitigation on the right here is, I think you're looking at existing areas total, is 6,895. And the right side, there should be a column that says proposed mitigation, which I have here on the screen.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, it should say 5,138 required
okay, but
and
on, okay.
5,257 proposed.
Okay, but on the original plan, it said mitigation required 6315, mitigation provided 6516. So it still seems like it decreased.
I'm going to have to look at the
On the
plan you
original
have.
plan, it's on the, let's see. To the right, on all those boxes where all your coverage calculations are, in bold at the bottom.
Oh, you know what it is? I'm sorry. You know what it was? We had a plan that we had submitted originally, and then we revised it, and we
think before it was
resubmitted it.
heard.
So I think, I just need to make sure that you're looking at the right plan. So let me just check.
Okay.
There were 2 plans that were submitted before we
okay.
saw you.
This one
So-
is not a revision, it's dated, I keep losing it. It just jumps, whatever that date is.
Yeah, there should have been, let me just see what this one says.
Okay, so what do you have?
There was a plan that came in, and before we even heard it, they submitted a revised plan.
Okay, so that's 53.
Yes, that's correct. So there
Okay.
was a plan that was submitted with an August 12th date.
Yeah,
But we resubmitted on September 2nd. So the plan I have that I'm showing you is a September 2nd
okay, so
date,
this is, okay.
which is
okay,
the approved plan.
Okay, I withdraw, I was going to say,
No,
Yeah.
all right.
you kind of caught me because I thought we had it
Well,
right.
yeah,
so,
when plans get changed, okay.
Yeah, had to refresh my memory, it's been a while.
My question is, so this is a field change, because the plan is changing, do we need to also approve the plan change? I'm looking at Paul and Bradford. Yes, we do. Okay, so the motion has to approve the plan change, and then, yeah, to this new date. Okay.
So we have to have a motion to approve the field change with the revised plan.
I move that we approve the field change request for 504 Old Harbor Road with the revised plans.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.
You too. Okay,
Bye.
next one, Bradford.
Up next is a notice of intent for 42 Old Harbor Lane. Peter Harris, map 16I, parcel 20-MD2, SE 10- I don't have the full SE number. This is for a raise and reconstruct guest house with patio and stairs, and connecting to an existing septic system.
Hey,
Good afternoon.
good to see you.
Good to see you. Margaret, that Eldridge, in the southeast. This started off a nice, easy one.
Yeah.
We have a guest house that's right at the 100-foot, and they want to replace it. Nice and simple. That would increase a little bit of patio. There's some wall work that happens within 100 feet. It's all behind the house, so there's no impact on the resource area, the nearest one. Just to start off with the property, this goes all the way down to the water. So we have land under ocean, a little bit of salt marsh hanging out there, land subject to coastal storm flowage, coastal bank, and then it's like a panhandle old road that comes up. The cranberry bog, or the former cranberry bog in the middle of the property, is an isolated wetland. It does have an outlet that goes down to the south. We didn't go recover that because it seems to be doing okay in there. So we're in the buffer to that isolated wetland. The work that we do need to do within the 50 is access. There's no real way to get back there behind the house, given the site configuration. So as we get into the process, or got into the process, we found that there were 2 open orders, one for the septic system, that's being applied, and then one for some ongoing maintenance, mostly down by the shore. We've been working our way through that one, and we'll be applying for the certificate of compliance on that. And then in the middle of all this, Bradford very diligently found that the patio was expanded in 2018. The Harrises had engaged a company that was supposed to obtain all permits, and they obviously didn't. So we now have about 600 square feet of patio, a little under 300 in the 0 to 50, a little more than 300 in the 50 to 100. I think I have that in the right order. We have simply proposed, or it's actually 315 square feet in the NDZ and 285 in the outer aura. We've proposed an additional 920 square feet of mitigation to remedy that. All of the mitigation that we're proposing is within the 50-foot and adjacent to the more naturalized area on the property. And then to make matters worse, there are cryptic view easements that exists over the property, so we are proposing the mitigation to work with those view easements. So it started out so simple. And then everything in the record came forward. Hopefully we can relieve the stone patio. It doesn't seem to be causing any issue. There's no signs of runoff. Even when there was snow out there, there's no real sign of any scouring. And then from there, we can certainly discuss the proposed project, because that's the easier part of the entire thing. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions?
Are these just questions as we, on the patio or the project?
Oh, the whole thing, or however you'd like to move forward. It's-
Okay.
So for the mitigation that's proposed, you have them all listed. I don't see sizes of any of the mitigation that's going in.
So on the list that we have, so the mountain laurel would be 2-gallon size, 6 foot on center. and that comes right off of the county list. Sweet pepper bush, 1 gallon, bayberry, 3, the rosebay rhododendron, 2 to 4 foot, and the winterberry, 2 to 4 foot.
Okay, can we just add that somehow to the plan or somewhere?
It is.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
I hit it in the northeast corner.
Thanks. You shouldn't hide things on me. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments?
I have a question about the access.
Yes.
So I saw there's just an arrow that points kind of to nowhere, saying proposed access on not that page, the next one down. The as proposed plan,
Yep.
not the existing.
He'll make it a little bit further, and
Yeah.
I mean, it would be,
Who's controlling the screen? Brad, can you scroll down a bit to the next, no, the other way. Okay, there. So, right there is the line that
proposed
says
access.
proposed access.
so we'd be coming in off the driveway,
Okay,
removing a couple of the hedges that are here,
yep.
and then coming through and
Oh, coming
around.
that way, tight along the house. Okay.
Right along the house. We do have they are going to reach out to their neighbors to see if there's any way to get through either of the adjacent properties. There's no guarantee that they can get that access. With the septic tank that needs to be added in for the second building, they are going to have to come down this way because there's not going to be any way to get there.
You can't get there behind the house?
If they get approval from the neighbor, maybe they could, but
Is the green shading all their property? Is that,
everything, yes.
so you couldn't get access close behind the house on the green on their side of the property line? Yeah, along there.
So this is a private parcel that's owned by Mr. Miller, who has the house at the end, the house across the
Okay.
street. This is another private property. Their access comes in Old Harbor Lane and
Yep.
right to here, and they have that
Yeah.
little bit of smidgen of frontage.
Yeah.
And then they have a shared parking area with their neighbor, and then they come in. So really, that's the way to get there. It's a terrible spot. It is in lawn. Some of the slopes are a little bit steep, but the machinery will be able to get through. It's going to be a challenge.
Have they initiated any conversations?
No,
Okay.
they wanted to get through this. They spent some time with the architect going back and forth with a number of details, and
Okay. It would not be unreasonable then for us to put in an order that once access is decided, it will be added to the plan and submitted to the conservation
sure,
agent?
sure.
Okay, we'll put
And
that in
and I'd
there.
assume, access is one of the big issues with this whole thing, and at the kickoff meeting, that should be discussed.
Okay,
I can say it is an existing lawn, so it's not like we're ripping
Yeah.
up
Right.
yeah.
naturalized area to get there.
Anybody, anything else? Eric?
Yeah, I would think it more logical to stay on the property the best you can, rather than going through neighbors' properties, liability and all that, but, so I'm sure they can fix it all up like they were never there. Thanks.
Anybody? Janet? More?
I have, what's bothering me about this is that, and I don't know what happened, I suspect nobody knows what happened back in 2018 and who said what and who did what, but the expansion of this impervious patio is in the no disturb zone. And it's pretty likely that had they come with a plan for this, it would not have been well received. I think it's fair to say. They've proposed, or you proposed mitigation in accordance with the existing ratios. So they're ending up with something approved to the same level it would have been approved had it been approved back then, which I think was unlikely. So it just strikes me that once again, it proves the old adage that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. And that the message that sends bothers me, and it undermines the integrity of the program. And when I look at what strikes me as a small mitigation, I think maybe the better outcome be to expand that mitigation area up to that patio. It's a sloped area. I don't, it was snow covered when I was there, so I assumed it was lawn under there, but I couldn't really tell. To turn that into native plants rather than lawn would end up leaving the environment in a better position, because if we don't do that, the environment pays the cost of this. So I would just ask that be rethought and maybe come back with something a bit more on the mitigation side that balances out the equities here.
I can certainly bring that back to the client and review.
I would feel a lot better if it were not exactly the current ratio. There's no incentive to comply with the process.
Anything else?
I
Anybody?
was just going to say, good for you, Janet.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I guess you'll need to come back to us?
Yes, we will. We have zoning tomorrow.
Yes, I saw that.
And I'd assume that there are no real issues with the original proposal, which is going to the Zoning Board of Appeals tomorrow.
Exactly, no. The only issue we have is I think that, unfortunately, the patio was done without coming before us. And as Janet said, probably would not have passed being impervious. But
Oh, yeah.
if they can, it's just mitigation, I think, is our issue at this point.
So I can bring this back to the client, review some mitigation
Yes.
plans for in front of the patio. Is
You
there a
need-
target that we should shoot for square footage?
Should we do 3-1?
Whatever it takes to reach that patio is what I
Okay.
have in
Yeah.
mind.
I just had a small question. Is there lawn on both sides of the patio?
There is.
If you went all the way to the patio, how would you get the lawnmower to get to the other side?
Mr.
That's a-
Landscaper.
That's a great point.
You'd have to drive over the patio. So maybe you'd have to leave a little bit of room to get a lawnmower
She
through there.
said a mow strip.
Yeah, but they use 4-footers, in commercial landscapers.
So if we maintain a bit of lawn there, but get the mitigation
Yeah.
to it,
Do you need something from us to tell ZBA that we don't have an issue with, other than,
I'm sure there's more than one ZBA member listening right now.
I think there
If
are.
it could be a quick note that just says, we're happy with that.
You do
part
that,
of the
Bradford?
project.
Or Chris, ask Crystal to let ZBA know that we don't have a problem
Certainly.
besides mitigation.
Yep.
Thank
That
you.
would be greatly appreciated.
All right, this is a good time because I forgot to announce it. Our next meeting, March 25th, is actually not taking place because we do not have a quorum that day. So it has been rescheduled to April 1st. So you have in April 1st, 8th, and 22nd. Get your pick. We're totally open at this point.
Let's go for April 1st and,
Yeah, for April Fools?
yeah, see if I'm just joking with you.
Okay, if we could have a motion to
I
continue.
move that we continue 42 Old Harbor Lane to the meeting on April 1st, 2026.
Second?
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Thanks.
Have a great day.
You too. All right, Brad, for the next.
Next up is a notice of intent for 0 Eastward Road, Chatham Conservation Foundation, map 13M, parcel 21A-C42, SE 10-3764. This is for invasive species management and native plant restoration within the 100-foot buffer to a salt marsh and coastal bank.
Okay. Do we have anybody here?
I am Lindsay Cook from Parterre Ecological.
Hi, Lindsay. Okay, go ahead.
Madam Chair,
All right.
does she want to share her screen and we'll just?
Do you want to share your screen, or do you want us to put up?
Yeah, let's actually do it that way, because that way we can flip through some more. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, how's that?
Very good.
All right, great. So we have this property at 0 Eastward Road, which is owned and managed by the Chatham Conservation Foundation. It's slightly under a half an acre and it's currently undeveloped except for an old concrete structure. It is bound by Eastward Road to the north, a salt marsh to the south, a single-family residence to the east, and an undeveloped lot to the west. The habitat type there is mostly shrubland with native and invasive species present. There are scattered native trees present among the shrubs, and the shrubland gives way to a native salt marsh plant community to the south. The majority of the lot is located within a FEMA flood zone AE, with a portion to the west located with FEMA flood zone VE. The resource areas on the site are land subject to coastal storm flowage, a salt marsh, and a coastal bank. The site is also located within NHESB estimated and priority habitats of rare wildlife, and it is in the Pleasant Bay ACEC. Our project entails removing invasive vegetation and replacing it with native vegetation. The invasive cover across the site ranges from less than 10 to 20% on the northwestern, western, and southern side of the property to almost 80% on the northeastward side. Square footage of invasive vegetation is approximately 5,724. Invasive plant material is to be flush cut and treated with a wetland-approved herbicide. There would be no soil disturbance at all, and after the invasive removal, the area will be seeded with a salt-tolerant native grass and forb mix. Native plants including baccharis, bayberry, beach plum, and Virginia rose will be planted once we have 80% control of the invasive species. So on what you can see on the plan is our removal areas are in this pink. This is where it's only 10%. This is where it gets higher, 40 to 60, I believe. And then right by the road, it's the highest of all, and that's where we'll be planting the most densely for the replant. Does anybody have any questions?
I can't find where I saw it, but are you removing any trees?
No, so
Okay.
there's a pretty substantial autumn olives on the property, and we are going to be taking those.
So you are removing some trees?
Well, autumn olive is like, it goes into a tree form, yeah.
And, I mean, if you're calling them trees, a tree's a tree. And I don't see that any trees are going in to replace.
No, there's already some trees. Yeah, there's some trees there that we think once the invasive removal happens will be released from their current state. Like the biggest autumn olive is over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's a nice eastern red cedar right here that I think will benefit from losing the autumn olive. So we don't have anything planned, just shrubs and perennials.
Okay, so no trees are being removed. Okay,
Yeah.
because if they are, we need them replaced. Okay, anybody else have any questions? I mean, I'm happy to see that invasives are being dealt with and replaced. So, anything?
Quick question, Lindsay. So is treatment or removal of the invasives, does it vary by species? Do you have different plans for what's in there and?
Almost everything is woody, so it's all just going to be cutting them and then painting with the wetland approved herbicide.
Swiped or painted, yeah. What about the roots? Are they left in place?
Everything will be left in place, yes.
Okay. And is one
There's also some
treatment?
poison.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, there's also some poison ivy on site. We were planning on leaving that.
Yeah, because
So-
they had, yeah. Is one treatment going to be sufficient, or do you have to repeat?
I think it's normally best to just keep an eye on it. After the one treatment, we hope to knock it down significantly, but we will hold off on the planting until we feel like we have 80% control of it.
Okay,
We have some bittersweet on site that tends to
okay, so that
resprout.
does require, right, that's what I was wondering, because I'm looking to see exactly what was there, because some of them are harder than others. Okay. And it won't, this new planted area is not adjacent to any other invasive, or do you need to protect it in some way? It's not a residential property, so a mow strip doesn't make any sense, but is there any,
There's a residential property off to the east side, but it's currently mulch and very heavily landscaped, so I don't think we'll have any encroachment
okay,
on that side.
okay, great, thank you.
So I know you said a time of year restriction will be in place to avoid bird nesting and other disturbances. What is that time of year that you're thinking is the restriction?
Typically, it's April 1st
Okay.
to November.
I just wanted to make
So-
sure if that's what you were thinking or because it wasn't specified.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, perfect, because that's what I was thinking. So, great. Anybody else? Bob?
I just had a question about long-term maintenance, Lindsay. How long do you think you're going to be in there monitoring the site and maintaining it?
Well, at least 3 years for the order of conditions. And I think at that point, the plant community should be fairly well established and we shouldn't have any resprouting invasives.
So do you think you'll be going in after that from time to time, if need be?
If need be, definitely. We want to see this site really thrive. So, as needed, but I don't see it needing more than 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
Anything? Anybody? I think then we can go to an order. So, given the time of year restriction of April 1st, we're going to be hitting that at our next meeting. So to me, that means there's not a big rush, but when would you like to receive this order? We have April 1st, 8th, and 22nd, and then we go into May.
April 1st is good.
Okay. Then we will go to April 1st for an order.
I move that we continue 0 Eastwood Road to the meeting on April 1st, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
And I say aye.
As do
Okay.
I.
Thank you. The next, please.
I say aye, too.
Oh, and I say aye. Oh, wait,
I say
Elise?
aye.
Oh, and did I say aye? I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to move us along. Sorry. It's one of those days. Next, please.
Next up is a notice of intent for 72 Seamist Lane, Bona Fortuna LLC, map 1A parcel K, SE 10-3767. This is for proposed construction of a swimming pool and patio within the buffer zone to a coastal bank.
Good afternoon, David Clark, Clark Engineering. Also online is Thomas Mulcahy, who is preparer of the landscape plan and the mitigation. So, as stated, I'd like to construct a swimming pool within the outer buffer zone to a coastal bank. The pool is located as close to the house as possible, as little disturbance to undisturbed areas as possible. Between the swimming pool and the new walkways, we're just under the 35% maximum, so we believe that the project, along with the mitigation, meets all your performance standards. This project does not require zoning relief. one comment that Bradford had when we started the application process was that the retaining wall wasn't shown on any of the previous permitting plans, although it dates back to when the house was built about 20 years ago. So a certificate of compliance was issued for the house. Nonetheless, we're treating it as a new structure in our mitigation and site coverage numbers. Tom should be here to answer any questions regarding the pool.
I do see him on. Go ahead, Tom. I don't know, if you're talking, we're not hearing.
I'm sorry about that. Thomas Mulcahy with Mulcahy Design Group, representing the clients at 72 Seamist. As David said, we are under the 35% max coverage. We exceed the mitigation requirement, and we have reduced the amount of lawn within the outer aurora, and we are proposing to remove 8 existing trees and replace them at a 1-to-1 ratio. We're proposing 95% native species, which exceeds the performance standard. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to go over them.
You are also removing 2 dead trees, am I correct?
Correct.
Have you thought about leaving them as snags?
I did, but if you look at the plan, I don't know if I can share it, the screen.
Are they where you're putting the pool in?
Yeah, I was trying to create a path of, within the limit of work that wasn't going to disturb the resource area. So you could see, and it's adjacent to the private road there to the right. That's where the 2 existing trees are to the plan right that are dead. So the proposed eastern red cedars are going in their place.
Okay, but dead trees offer some benefit to the environment. So I view them, and maybe others in our group won't, but I view them as trees being removed and should be replaced.
Well, they are topped, so they're not really providing too much of a canopy.
I'm not
for
talking about a
wildlife.
canopy. I mean, there are benefits to dead trees too, for
Okay,
birds.
and I'm pretty sure they're riddled with insects as well at my last site visit there. So I don't think they're really doing too much for the habitat in that zone.
Can we verify that they're not, that they're insects or something, so that we know that they truly have issues and are not
Yeah,
just?
and I can provide some photos too, if that would help.
I think more, I just need to know, I mean, if they're infested and need to be removed because of that, that's one thing. If they're just being taken out because they're dead, that's another. Do you have an
Madam Chair,
opinion,
if I may.
Bradford?
Yeah, our regulations do say unless it's being left as a snag, it does require the replacement. So unless they are
Yeah.
replacing or leaving them as snags, they should be replaced with the one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Some insects are beneficial, so.
Yeah, I think there are benefits to dead trees.
One thing that wasn't mentioned in the narrative, this property just completed a restoration process, project of the buffer zone. So the and it wasn't associated with any construction on the project, on the property. So there's a lot of goodwill by the applicant to improve the property.
Oh, no, I agree. It's just our regulations, I can't say, oh, I'm going to forgive 2 trees for you, and then somebody else comes and they go, well, you did this, and they said they were dead, and so you didn't ask that they be replaced. So I'm just trying to treat all properties equally. That's all. I do remember that they've been before us.
Speaking about the previous mitigation, I noticed that the irrigation's still there.
Yeah, I don't think there's
I
a need for
believe
that.
I believe we had that removed recently. If you look at my conservation notes, it only calls for temporary irrigation for the initial growing seasons.
Oh, so it's not that old yet, the restoration?
Pretty recent.
Okay.
If it's been when I've been.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're allowed to have the temporary until the COC is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Anybody else? Anything? Bob, anything? No? So I think we could go to an order if you just would give us an updated planting plan with 2 more trees.
Or not take the dead
That's
ones.
no,
What?
Or not take the dead ones down.
Yeah, or not take the dead ones out.
One or the other.
Exactly.
yeah,
One or the
I can update the plan accordingly so that we're either not taking the dead ones out or we're adding 2 more.
Okay, so you've heard David. We have April 1st, 8th, 22nd.
April 1st, please.
I figured you'd say that. Boy, this is going to be a fun April Fool's. All right. It's only our second. If we could have a motion, please.
I move that we continue 72 Seamus Lane to the meeting on April 1st, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Thank you. All right, on to the.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to the next.
Next up is a notice of intent for Parcel 5, Crows Pond Road. Scott Butcher, map 10L, Parcel 5, SE 10-3766. This is for construction of a dwelling and swimming pool within the buffer zone to a coastal bank.
Hello.
Good afternoon. David Clark Engineering, along with Phil Cheney, the landscape designer, and Ian Peach from Wilkinson Ecological that was working on the restoration mitigation portion of the project. This is a project that we've worked on literally for, I think, about 12 years. There's been prospective buyers over the years. None of them moved forward. We finally have the owners have the property under agreement that somebody's willing to go forward with permitting. This lot was created, I think, in 2004, maybe 2006. I can't quite remember. But since then, this particular property has been affected severely by changes in the conservation's regulations and also the changes in the FEMA flood map. When this lot was first created, there was no buffer zone. There were no mitigation standards or required mitigation, certainly no tree removal standards. All that in the 35% rule are now part of your regulations. Given that, we have a project that comes right in just under the 35%. Given the size of the property, we feel it's a modest house for the size of the property. Unfortunately, it's not modest in compared to the little area that's left after all the regulatory changes over the last 20 years. But nonetheless, we're under the 35%, and we feel that as designed, this project meets your performance standards. Being a vacant lot, you can't build a house without taking out trees. And so most of the trees, once you take out the setback requirements for a Title V system, most of the trees are in the 50 to 100-foot buffer. We really looked at trying to site this house as far back on the property as possible, but there aren't really many trees there. And there's no room to move the house that far back. So unfortunately, we're dealing with putting a majority of the project within the zero, I mean, not 0 to 50, 50 to 100. So I believe Ian's going to talk about the tree removal. I think we're somewhere around 30 trees. It's less than that now, so if you've been out to the site since the storm, there are a number of trees down, and there's some significant snags that would be down if there wasn't a pine tree next to the one that's coming down. But that's happened to this property over the last 20 years. When we first went on the property 20 years ago, there were a lot more trees, but they've all come down. Those back-to-back storms in, was it 2017? In March, took out a lot of trees on this property, and they just keep coming down. Once you get a hole in the canopy, those northeast winds find a spot, get in there and take more out. I was surprised that there weren't more trees down than what's there now. So we're going to update the tree inventory because 2 trees are down on the ground. We've got a couple of snags, and some good-sized pine trees are leaning quite a bit that are only going to pose a problem anyways, or will be down in the near future. That being said, the project does not need zoning relief. We meet the setbacks from the Coastal Conservancy District and the property lines. It does not need Board of Health relief. We comply with the minimum standards of the Board of Health of 1 bedroom per 10,000 square feet of lot area. And we comply with zoning site coverage. Being a vacant lot, we're required to comply. There's no opportunity to get a variance from the zoning board anyways. So that being said, Phil's here to talk about the landscaping, and Ian's here to talk about the mitigation. If there's any questions on the engineered site plan?
Why don't we hear everything? And then we can deal with all questions. Thank you.
Madam
Okay,
Chair, is that-
either Phil or Ian?
Does Ian, you want to share your screen?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll share the restoration plan. Can let me know when that is showing.
It is.
All right, thank you. So I'll try to walk you through how we got to where we are. Appreciate David's introduction. For the record, Ian Peach, representing the project from Wilkinson Ecological Design. And really, I need to begin by describing the existing conditions that David laid out. And because that's really where we needed to start to solve this problem, to find the mitigation and the restoration, and to really conserve and protect existing native species and resources on the site. We have stateless invasive species on site, so part of the project certainly are targeting those, which I can speak to, and certainly are going to improve the native species diversity. And almost most critically, or working together with those, something this site is very much lacking is any vertical layering. You hear me use the word stratification in the past. You basically have an over canopy and for the scale of the plant community in the residential lot, a real void of the shrub or mid-layer habitat. The site is undeveloped, as you know. It's predominantly wooded, so canopy to canopy, and it's primarily pitch pine. We also have black oak and some eastern red cedar. I mentioned that lack of shrub layer in mid canopy, and also something to really note and understanding existing conditions, because that's what we're working with here, and we want to leverage this, is that there's really a great regeneration of saplings and young trees throughout the property. So, in this part of our approach is definitely to limit the disturbance and to conserve and protect and encourage that regeneration. With droughts, with the need for watering young trees, you want to work with existing native species as much as possible. So every act of restoration should always be taking that into account, and we very much so do here. The invasive species on site, we found shrub honeysuckle, vine honeysuckle, and Asiatic bittersweet being the primary players that we'll target removing. And then really, you know, how we broke it out, you can see up here on the coastal bank, this is approximately 6,500 square feet of invasive plant management and native plant community restoration. We're focusing on native shrub planting and grasses for the deep bank holding capacity of their roots. And you can see them specified on our plan. Some species that'll be well matched, some nice diversity. A few of these species we're seeing on site, and many of them will definitely be appropriate to colonize and make a robust mitigation area. We do have some existing arrowwood, high bush blueberry, some other species like the high tide bush that we protected and conserved in this area while we work around them to do the invasive plant management and the native plant restoration. So really to get to one of the primary things, although it's all connected, we needed to look at how to mitigate for, like David said, we need to go back out there post-storm and get an exact count, but really 25 native trees in the 50 to 100-foot buffer that would be lost due to the development of the property. So the first thing we needed to find and thought of was leveraging some more cedars and creating a dense cedar grove, which really amplifies their planting as making a habitat structure. So you have the individual plants, but the cedars work as one to be a grove. So there's a lot of existing trees everywhere, canopy, sapling, regenerating, just a little larger than sapling trees. So it may look like there are other areas where you could put trees, but we are really limited. And so to work with that, this is an area where we really thought we could bring in a nice cedar grove and an important area actually on the resource, so getting extra benefits by putting it there to kind of anchor and bring habitat there. The landscape plan also is offering 3 American hollies and a dogwood. But really, because of some of these constraints, and one of them very constraining as well is an existing view easement line. You can see here, we are not, by our understanding right now, and I can let others speak more to this, we are not allowed to plant anything above 28 feet. So elevation, so really it limits, this is why you can see we had to kind of find an area. It limits some of our primary planting areas on the property to do any sort of mitigation for trees. So we're working with a really extensive over canopy, a lot of regeneration, a lack of shrub layer, and we're just trying to find where we can get the most benefit and respect your bylaws, because I understand that is important. So we also thought a smart way to do this would be to offer a really robust, where there is lacking over here closer to the coast, shrubland planting area where we could bring in 30 shrubs. And ideally, we'd be proposing like a 2-to-1 ratio for these arrowwood and bayberries. Again, assigning them as mitigation. So we'd like you to entertain and have that conversation based on all the things I've laid out, a shrub ratio that really can do a better job of, I think, meeting all the reasons behind your policy for tree mitigation on a very constrained site. It's this vertical layering of habitat. It's just really critical. And just to stuff trees in with drought and the existing conditions, I think actually is a detriment to the overall comprehensive uplift of the resources and the ecological function of the site. So that's, I just think, a critical addition, regardless, is a robust shrub planting. So I hope I've walked you through this a little bit here. We have a full canopy layering, this very challenging view easement constraint, and we want to make sure we're having a robust restoration or mitigation, I could say, to meet the development and work as hard as we can and creative as we can ecologically to get trees and shrubs in the right places where they make sense to have a cohesive sort of restoration of the site. Certainly willing to talk about, we can look again even closer at trees we've lost on site since the storm, talk about areas where we can leave habitat for a snag in certain areas if they're already moving that way. We definitely want to work with you on the trees, but I just wanted to make sure today to kind of get that vertical habitat layering in your head, understand where we are and how constrained we are, and that we're just, willing to work with you. So appreciate you hearing me out and happy to speak to anything further on our plan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Phil, do you want to?
Good afternoon, Phil Cheney, landscape designer. Just to speak briefly on the landscape plan that you have, really looking to have some simple fescue lawn in the front and back for a useful area, areas around the pool and terraces in the back. Some pretty straightforward foundation plantings and doing my best to get a good mix where we've got the 75% native plantings using some areas around the pool, so forth, and back to create enough native plantings. So we've got the balance that we're looking for. Walkways, stepping stones, the rest is pretty much straightforward.
Okay. One thing I have is on your plan, Phil, we don't have a legend that shows what each of the various, like, how you highlighted, say, where the eastern dogwood is going. You've got them all written at the bottom, but it's kind of nice when we have that little legend, that would say the circle with the bigger circle or the small circle with the plus. So, I know you've got it all written, but it's a lot to follow.
You're saying you'd like to have the symbol included on the schedule?
Yeah, it would be nice. You've got it,
I could-
but I'm
yeah.
just saying for future,
Sure.
okay?
I understand that sometimes it's really tough to fit it on. but I
Well, yeah,
probably could in
and
this
it's all, I can read it, but it's printed very little, and so it would make it a little bit easier. Second, between the two, the landscaping and the restoration plans, I assume, because you're both saying you're at 75%, that we're at 75% total between the two, because we have two plans, this is just like what I went through earlier with Teresa,
Sure.
and we had that question
Yep.
for Bridge Street. So it's harder when you've got two plans
Sure.
with two different planting schedules.
Yeah, right, yeah. My portion, this plan, you see my plan, it's 25 and 75.
Right, and I think that's what Ian said. I just wanted
Sure.
to have you guys definitely tell me that between the two put together, because it makes it a little harder when there's two plans.
Sure.
And of course, you've heard my little thing about dead trees and snags and all that. So, and I know you've got to update the trees after the storm, so I think we can have that discussion after it's updated. But, if you're taking them out and they're dead, you're still taking them out.
Even if they're lying on the ground?
Well, if they're lying on the ground, they're out.
So some of those trees are at quite an angle, and the only reason why they're still standing is they're snagged, and they'll be on the ground within a year or two. They still count as a tree to be replaced?
I think so.
Or is that something you want to go out and take a look at? And
Oh, we could go look, but you're going to update the plan anyway, so we can have that discussion next time.
Okay.
Anybody have anything? Eric?
Yeah, if they're heavily leaning, then you can put it under as like an admin review or something, to remove them and separate them from the master plan,
we were hoping DEP was going to declare an emergency. Wow,
Yeah.
why they didn't this time, I guess it all depends on how the South Shores hit more than the Cape Cod, but,
I don't have a problem. I mean, it's a buildable lot. It's allowed to build, and you did a good job sticking in there 35, around 35% is awesome. I just want to go back to the green, the mitigation map that had the little green on it if you don't mind.
Sure, would you like me to call up the restoration plan, or is that?
Yeah, the one you had, yeah.
Sure, happy to do it.
Yeah.
Let me know.
I'm just curious, and the mitigation, I notice it loops up towards the pool. Why do you, so what's the big white area to the south of the mitigation? Is that an easement for the view?
Well, there is a view easement.
Is
The easement-
that big white area that's south of your mitigation?
So yes,
Looking at
this is everything south of this line.
Oh, okay.
Is all of view easement, yes.
Oh, all right, okay.
One of the things it would be that I'd like to see is, where is the other side of the view easement?
yeah. Oh, so,
We only have one line.
oh, it goes right to the property line.
It's property line is my understanding.
Oh, it goes,
South of that line?
Oh,
and actually, that same view easement extends to the 4 lots to the south. When they were developed, that same view easement continues onto all those. We have the same issues trying to permit houses on those lots and where to put the mitigation.
Okay.
So this is the last lot in that development, and it's the most restricted by that view easement because it's the one that's on the water that everybody has a view through.
I think it's the last lot on the pond, isn't it?
No, there's property to the south off of Sea Pine. There's 4 lots there that only one of them is developed.
Not as nice as that one, though.
But this might be the last one that's on the pond.
Yeah.
interesting. All right. Anybody, anything?
Can I just follow up with that? So how are you getting the eastern red cedars, this is Ian, in there, if
Yeah.
that's within the view
Yeah.
easement?
Exactly, so what's not shown here is the elevation 28. I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yeah.
Which kind of wraps down in here.
Yep.
And comes up, so we're just down slope of the restrictive elevation. That's why you might think, gosh, why aren't you doing it all in here? So there is a limiting elevation. So we're free of that elevation. So
Okay.
it's not just area, it's also elevation is our interpretation.
Okay, so while I have you, what is the difference in your view between the shading, the mitigation area and the 2 restoration areas? Are we treating them the
Yeah.
same? Are they all
I
being offered
think
in
we-
mitigation, or?
Well, so I think we wanted to break them apart because we knew there would be a tree conversation. So outside the view easement, what I introduced as mitigation, wanted to meet your mitigation standards, and was the right area to focus that, and allows the most benefit and protection between the development and the pond. So I wanted that 6,500 square feet to be the mitigation. Really, though, these restoration areas were supposed to show the tree and the shrub approach, but we are specifying should there be any disturbance. We have the native seed mix and also invasive plant management as needed in those areas to make sure for the health of the trees. But we wanted to make sure we could clearly say, yes, mitigation is satisfied with that. And if we need to have a very detailed tree conversation, we kind of had the 2 parsed apart.
Okay.
Certainly when we conceive the project, which doesn't come across perfectly here, there's a lot of canopy, there's this lacking mid-layer, we're very constrained. We see it all as one approach, but to address your bylaws and have a productive conversation, we were thinking of them somewhat separate.
Yep, get that, and we will have a detailed tree conversation, but this is premature until you update the inventory. But I get that. So essentially, that mitigation is mitigating for the impacts of the construction of the house and pool, and what you're calling the restoration areas is really being offered as replacement for the trees that are coming down. And I totally understand the issue of the over-canopied problem that you have, and we'll talk about all of that at another time, next time we meet. And I will say that your colleague at Wilkinson has given us a lot of education about the importance of maritime shrubland communities. We've heard from Matt on that many times, so we do understand why they're so valued, and so it might be, we may be more amenable to being flexible about tree replacements when we're given everything we've got here. We'll see.
I appreciate your openness. Thank you.
All right, anybody, anything else, Bob?
I got a couple of questions. Ian, the Eastern Red Cedars, will they provide some screening too from the neighbors?
On that side, we're screening's a minor concern. It really was finding a space in the canopy where the cedars could thrive, and coming up with that concept of kind of a dense grove. So really, screening is a much lesser concern.
Okay, is there enough sun for all your plantings in here? Because it's a pretty shaded spot.
Totally. Yeah, it's a great question, and that's why you don't see me or us as a team kind of just peppering them everywhere unrealistically. We had to find existing gaps, and we had to choose the right species. In this location, there should be enough sun for the eastern red cedars.
Okay, and is there going to be any tree pruning anywhere? Because I know you have that view easement.
I think, yeah.
And-
Oh, sorry, Bob, excuse me.
No, that's okay, and I know there's a pool, and I know they're gonna wanna look at the ocean, look at the water, so that's a question I have. Will you be going in there to prune anything?
Right now, we don't have any specific pruning. I think I want to look at this after the storm a little bit. That would be one important thing to keep into account, just if there are things for safety or half broken, or just the kind of canopy structure has changed. But I will note, yeah, we do not have an aggressive removal approach between the water and the structure. I think that could have been almost glossed over, which I think really should be recognized, as there could be a very different development approach that not only would look to remove trees to site the house, but would really aggressively go after that. So we are not. We are trying to keep existing what's there.
To that end, the commission traditionally on a vacant lot would have a standard condition that talks about a view corridor. The last one we did on Captain Knowles, it was in your conditions, but we never talked about a view corridor during the permitting process. I think it would be wise to include that standard conditions. It gives us the opportunity, once the house is up, to come back to the commission and talk about limited pruning if needed.
Okay, thank you, that's all I had.
Anybody else?
I got something for Phil, if that's
Please,
okay.
anybody, it's open time.
Will the pool have a pool cover, Phil, or
Yes, it's intended to be an auto cover.
auto cover, no fence? No
Correct.
fencing? And what about the driveway? What's the material for the driveway?
I don't know if we've exactly discussed that yet. I assume it would have to be pervious because most of it's within the outer aura. Like we're assuming it would be a gravel driveway.
Okay. I think that's all I had for now, thanks.
Anybody else? So you're going to do another tree inventory. So obviously, we need to continue this.
I'd like to add anything. Dave might have had a good idea. I mean, if it's, how many trees are heavily leaning? Because I don't want you to be penalized for
There's still a
the
couple
trees
of
that are heavily
pictures,
damaged.
But I went out there on the way here, and so I didn't have time to really walk the whole
I mean, if
site.
you want, we can take another quick look at them. I mean, if they're really leaning hard and they're kind of getting uprooted, I don't see why that,
Not a bad idea.
you know, you'd have to be
Well, almost all
penalized
of them
on.
are leaning.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Most pitch pines lean.
But
I'm
obviously,
trying to throw a little something here.
they all are pointing southwest at this point. But,
Do it on-site?
but only a few of them are really to the point where they will probably
I
come.
mean, is it like 3, 5, or,
At least a half dozen altogether.
Would
well,
the
maybe we should.
commission want an on-site?
Yeah, I would be happy to look at them with you, you
Could
know, I
we
mean. if-
get Crystal to arrange an on-site for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Can you mark the trees ahead of time? I mean, with tape or something?
We will, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So Crystal, if you would send out something asking about good times for people, I'd appreciate it. And maybe you all can, David, you guys can reach out to Crystal with some options. But we have to continue it. So, given that we're trying to get an on-site as well, when would you like to continue this to?
So, the second meeting in April is what, the 15th?
8th.
8th. Yeah, so you don't load up the first too much. The 8th, I guess, will work.
Okay.
That'll give us all plenty of time to get back out there. And flag
Okay.
trees and inventory.
Then if we could have a motion to continue to the 8th of April.
I move that we continue parcel 5 Crows Pond Road to the meeting on April 8th, 2026.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise? Aye. And I say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody need a break?
Yeah, why not? Just like 5 minutes.
5-minute break? Yeah. Okay. I've had a doctor's office call me 3 times.
Just, you know, sounds kind of, it's not our problem, but that's.
Elise? Okay, Bradford, we can do the next property.
Alrighty. Up next is a notice of intent for 357 Stony Hill Road, John Hernandez, map 14I, parcel 2B 25-25B, SE 10-3765. This is for a proposed swimming pool.
Okay. Okay,
Ready to go?
yeah, we're waiting for you.
Thank you. Thanks for waiting. My name is Jack O'Leary. I'm with Strong Tree Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the owner, John Hernandez, who's in the audience. And we prepared a notice of intent along with a site plan to add a swimming pool to an existing house at 357 Stony Hill Road. The existing house was permitted by this commission in the early 2000s. We did find, after looking a little bit, we found a certificate of compliance. You can scroll down a little bit. Okay, I got one, yep. I am ready. The existing lot is sort of a hatchet shape with a long skinny access here. It widens out into this roughly triangular shape. Existing driveways here, the existing house is here with the driveway accessing the garage up front. And right about in the middle of the lot, there's an isolated vegetated wetland right there. Our wetland scientist evaluated the isolated vegetated wetland and confirmed that it is indeed isolated. It's in a topographic low point in the middle of the lot. It definitely qualifies as a vegetated wetland under your bylaw. We also evaluate, it is presumed to be a vernal pool. No specific evaluation was done for that. But it's understood that the same rules would apply. We also, per the bylaw, evaluated it to see if it was an isolated land subject to flooding and found that it was not. It doesn't receive enough runoff to meet the criteria. So the existing house was constructed with a fence and a backyard here. The 50-foot no disturb zone is located there, and the 100-foot buffer zone, the outside edge of that, is located there, so that existing disturbance was already present within the aura. The proposed swimming pool is being kept hugged close to the house, minimize its disturbance, located right there. There is also a proposed addition and some additional rework being done at the house outside of the buffer zone located here. When we designed the site for the swimming pool, we found that the grade changes across the site required us to put in some walls. So we have two, we like to call garden walls less than 30 inches high, to ensure that we have a reasonable slope and we don't grade into the inner buffer zone. So as part of this project, the inner buffer zone, the no disturb area, will have no disturbance at all. There is some disturbance to the outer buffer zone. The existing fence is here and be relocated along the outside by the foot of the wall, and that resulted in a certain amount of disturbance. We appreciate your staff for taking a look at the initial plan. We've added mitigation areas to account and offset that disturbed area. One is located here. The existing fence comes along here, and this area had been more or less, there's an area that was a gravel bottom play area is placed, and it's been subject to a little bit of wear and tear, so it doesn't really function as a naturalized area. With this plan, the fence will be relocated to block it off from the rear yard, and this would be planted with shrubs and herbaceous layer, low bush blueberry, meadow plantings, which we thought was appropriate. There's a few small saplings that are stressed that would come out, very small, borderline bushes, not really trees. and the existing tree line along the property line will be maintained. So you'd get a little bit of a forest transition zone with these plantings. Somewhat different situation down here. There was an area on the other side of a wall, and over the years, it just got frankly abused by the landscaper, so there's a lot of grass cuttings and things like that. Again, existing trees occur further out. We propose similar plantings to again mitigate, provide a somewhat of a buffer, a transition zone to the trees here. And that would be protected again by the wall and the relocated fence. By doing so, we provide 20, the aura disturbed area will result in a total of 27.9% disturbance. And the amount of new disturbance from this swimming pool work would be fully mitigated by these two mitigation areas. As far as construction goes, access would be from the front of the house via the existing driveway through the existing lawn area, so there'd be no real new disturbance in the aura from the construction activity. We are proposing a pervious paver pool surround, so that would be a pervious surface and not an impervious surface. And of course, we propose the usual erosion control siltation barriers around the entire area being disturbed along this line. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on the application that the commission may have.
Anybody want to start? Go ahead.
There's a few things that, for instance, if they're pavers, they're still pretty impervious for rain, and any water would just run off. So what is the percentage of pervious do you have in the 50 to the 100?
Well, depending on whether you count the pool's water surface as
That's what I do.
impervious.
No, you don't?
That's the only, it really doesn't function as impervious, but in some stormwater calculations, that's what you use for it, since it can't take any more water. But it's with the pervious pavers, and we're open to other pervious surfaces if it's something you prefer to see. We'd have, and the water, and the pool being basically a reservoir for water, there'd be no impervious, there'd be no significant new runoff from the area being worked on.
My feeling is on this, I'm usually not like this, but it's quite an encroachment to me. Your wall is going right to the 50, and then you said it's the first one's a 30-inch, then there's a level area, then you're raising it again. Is that what you're doing? Two walls at 30
Exactly, a
inch?
stepped wall, make it blend in a little better.
And as far as the mitigation goes, I mean, you got your mitigation north and south. It's not really connected or contiguous with the wetlands in a way. It's kind of is, but to me, there's a lot of footprint in this area. I mean, 18 by 36. That's for 8 to 10 people. 6 if you're having a volleyball game. Is there maybe, I was maybe hoping that you could make it a smaller footprint, maybe a little smaller pool, have less of an impact on this area. It's, I'm sorry, that's my opinion on this. It's a little much to me on this project. Thanks.
I actually agree with Eric. And I think you've got a lot of patio. You've got a large pool. And so that was a concern, but I'm going to let others ask questions, comments before
I agree with that also, and there's a hot tub besides, so pool plus hot tub. I think it's a lot. I think squishing it down might make a lot of sense.
Anybody else want to bring up anything? Bob?
I was going to suggest you bring some of the mitigation between the walls. In other words, it's kind of like a terrace situation.
Good suggestion. We actually do propose it as mitigation plantings, some meadow plantings, but we didn't count it as mitigation because it's between walls and it seemed more like landscaping, but I love it.
So what's going, where you call it garden beds, that was one of my questions, is you've got the garden walls.
They're going to be maintained.
This area here,
Yeah, but
the
what's
area-
going in it?
that's proposed to be the meadow plantings, similar to what we're proposing along the edges of the lawn here and a little bit here. But we didn't count those towards the ratio just because we thought that it's between two walls. It's more, as you mentioned earlier, it's not connected.
No,
So
I
It's
think,
going to function as a, pollinator garden, things like that, but it's not connected to anything.
but we need to know what's going in it because it is within our jurisdiction. That's why I was asking.
Okay, we were proposing meadow plantings. And they're called out on the plan.
Are they? Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else? Bob, do you have anything else?
You're proposing to change that area between the 50 and 100, where those walls are going in, and adding fill, correct? You'd have to add some fill in that area.
That's correct, yes.
And there are some trees in that area too, existing trees. They're not a lot, but there are some.
Correct, yep.
And you thinking of replacing those trees anywhere after the project is done?
We don't show that on the plan, no.
So I'd like to see some trees go in. Again, it may be reduced, this whole, the project may be reduced in size, but if you're going to be removing any trees, I'd like to see some trees replaced as well.
Yeah, if you're removing trees, we need to know how many and what you're replacing them with. Anybody else? Go ahead, Janet.
There's a note on the plan that says vegetation to be removed between limit of work and existing fence.
Right.
Can you,
That is just the area we were speaking of just now with the tree,
yeah,
right in there, that little wedge.
so what else is in there? Just
We haven't done any kind of inventory of what's there. It looks like it's, the area, generally speaking, outside the fence and the existing walls out around here where we're proposing the mitigation, looks like it was the fringe of where the construction was years ago, and it just has been allowed to become, no formal plantings, but some from
naturalized.
naturalized weeds, but also landscape debris too.
Okay. Well, I just would like to know, whether there's any native vegetation in there that would be removed.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I think placing, I don't know if you're putting it into the new place or if the other fence after the removal is a brand-new fence. What does it look like?
It's a vinyl fence, white vinyl. It would be the same. Right now, it runs straight through here,
Yeah,
like so, and we'd replace it where it needs replacing right here and along that, and then meet up over here.
It's a post and rail fence though, correct?
Post and rail style vinyl fence, yes. It's just just a barrier to keep people from, so people know that's the edge of the yard.
I would think in my mind that maybe a restoration would be more valuable than mitigation planting north and south of the project. I mean, how are you gonna, you have to maintain, this mitigation, it's gonna be with a lot of invasives, you gotta keep it separated, and so it's obviously will have to be kind of maintained almost formally in order to keep the invasives from encroaching in on your mitigation planting. It's so far in.
I think we were planning on it being subject to the 3-year rule that applies to both. But
No, I understand. The other big issue also is one of the biggest things in our criteria is filling. Filling is like, is a big red flag with us. And when you're filling up to the 50 like that, it's one of our biggest concerns is filling.
Anything else? Sounds like there's quite a few things that we,
Because they need zoning?
well, it's,
no.
I did jot down your comments and questions. My question is, just for my benefit in revising the plan, is the bylaw is very helpful in that it provides pretty specific quantitative descriptions of what is and isn't allowed. We thought we were meeting it with this. Is there say a setback to the 50-foot no disturb zone that you're looking for us to observe, or a quantity of fill that might be acceptable?
Wait. You're asking about Phil?
Well, I'm also asking about we talked about, there was some discussion about the pool dimensions.
That's
Since we-
just because you're taking away an area that right now is, open, and you're making it all into patio and pool, and it's a very large pool. And so very often, we do question pool sizes and deck sizes, and because, even a pool's not pervious, obviously. And the pavers are pervious, but there's we've lost a lot of open area. And so that's why we're asking, I think. I don't want to speak for everybody.
My also, is my main concern is one of the concerns is the area of the mitigations. I mean, it is really, you're running out of places to put the mitigation. So you're north and south, which really I would personally like to see more contiguous with the vernal pool, or some type of a restoration to the vernal pool, to benefit the vernal pool, putting some plants in the north and the south. I mean, you're putting the right numbers in, but it's the two mitigation areas are far apart from each other. They're not connected, and they're not contiguous with what you were trying to protect. So that's why I'm saying maybe partial mitigation with a restoration would be more beneficial to the vernal pool than sticking some plants on the south and the north side of the project,
Oh, well, okay, these are buffer zone mitigations, so they're not going to be contiguous with the pool.
But they're
itself.
separated versus, you're not separating the impact you're putting in, right? It's all one piece, pool, patio, but you're separating the mitigation on both sides of the project versus connecting the mitigation would be, so the mitigation would be together and to the vernal pool is what you're protecting. You're not the outskirts of the north and south of the project, you know what I mean?
Right, given that the area generally slopes down to the pool, as it would, from the swimming pool down to the vernal pool. I think what Eric's saying, and I agree, it would be better to plant along that top part of that to create a buffer strip between the impacts of the pool
Yes,
patio
yes.
and the vernal pool, as opposed to north and south, put it there so that it helps to protect that vernal pool from runoff coming from that patio.
Okay, we can look at that. Bear in mind, too, we're constrained in that the lot line's here and here, so we don't have a lot of room to.
So that again, the lot lines?
This is the northern lot line here.
Yep.
and this is the southern lot line
Yeah, that's
here.
that's
Right.
fine.
And this is all the 50-foot no-touch
Right,
zone, which
but that's still in the lot.
No disturb, you can put
That's
plantings.
why-
Yeah.
You can put plantings in the no
We
disturb.
actually appreciate if you put
Also, you
plantings.
wouldn't mind.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
That's what we're looking for.
Because it's contiguous with the
That's-
vernal pool
They
and the
wouldn't count
plant.
towards the 35% in the outer.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, the 35% is the pool, the patio, the hardscape type things.
Okay.
The plantings are to combat that work.
Were we to make it more contiguous, we could go into the no-touch zone with the
Absolutely.
restoration and tie it
Yeah.
all together. Thank you. That's good guidance.
You're welcome. So obviously you need to come back. We have April 1st, April 8th, April 22nd, then we're into May. I don't know how much time you need or what you're thinking.
We'll shoot for April 1st, and if we can make it, we can. If not, we'll
Well,
continue.
we're rehearing it, it's not an order.
Okay. Are there any new orders for April 1st?
No, just, well, 2 today. So you'd like April 1st. Okay, if we could have a motion to
I
continue.
move that we continue 357 Stony Hill Road to the meeting on April 1st, 2026.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye. Okay, the next, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is a notice of intent application for 41 Katy Ford Road, Virginia Doan and John Donovan, map 8E, parcel 24. This is local only, CWP N-26-8. This is for construction of an addition within the buffer zone to a vegetated wetland.
Good afternoon, David Clark, Clark Engineering, on behalf of Ginny Doan, who's in the audience. So this is a small addition to a dwelling adjacent to an old cranberry bog that's reverted to a vegetated wetland. The addition is over an existing deck, and the net square footage increase on the property is 38 square feet. We show a small mitigation area, put some plantings that will get us to the 38 square feet of required mitigation. It all may seem insignificant, but given the size of the property, it's over 80,000 square feet. I'm sorry, yeah, 82,000 square feet. That 38 square feet is 0.4% increase in site coverage. So it really is, at the end of the day, a de minimis change to the property. Nonetheless, it's within your jurisdiction, you require mitigation, and that's why we filed a notice of intent.
So on your plan,
Mhm.
this is just, it said, see planting chart.
Yep.
I can't find a planting chart. I've tried.
It is over on the right column, right above my stamp.
Oh. Oh, my gosh, yes. It's a planting schedule.
Oh, sorry. Planting chart.
Thanks. Okay, and 9 backs, I don't know what those are.
Oh, 9 bark.
Oh, it says 9 back. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't even read it wrong. Are they native?
9 bark, yes, it's on the list.
Okay. Anybody have anything, comments, questions?
It's too bad this couldn't be done under a request for determination,
Yeah,
something
no.
like that, you know, it's unbelievable.
Anybody? No? Bob? Okay, well then, I think we can go to an order. That was
All
fast
right.
and easy. How about April 8th?
That's fine.
Okay. So we'll do the 8th for an order.
I move that we continue 41 Katy Ford Road to the meeting on April 8th, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Okay, Bob,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
Elise.
Aye.
And I say aye. Thanks. We saved the easiers for the end, hopefully. Okay. Next one, Bradford.
Next is a notice of intent for 10 Meadowview Road. Kevin and Stephanie Sarney, map 9D, parcel S1, SE 10 dash, I don't think I have the SE number for this. We don't have an SE number yet. Construction of an addition within the buffer zone to a coastal bank.
David Clark again, Clark Engineering. Almost the exact same project, except the resource area is different. We're dealing with a coastal bank here. Putting an addition over an existing deck, and again, 38 square feet. My office manager said I was cutting and pasting, and I need to check my numbers, but they wound up being exactly the same increase as the other project. So we show a work limit to protect the coastal bank from any runoff during construction. This one's a little different, then we got to move a footpath as well. We have the plan from Joyce Williams showing how the area is going to be restored after construction. It does not require zoning relief. This is a conforming lot with a conforming house on it, and the addition will also conform to setback and area requirements.
Bradford, you had a question about the coastal bank definition?
I did. I was just wondering if the,
How can it possibly be?
when I was out there, it looked like where you have toe of slope looked like the top of the bank to me. I just wasn't sure if that was.
Well, the slope is calculated where the floodplain intercepts the landform. So way down at the bottom where the floodplain is, the slope is less than 4 to 1. So at that point, the coastal bank, the limit of coastal bank is one and the same as the floodplain contour. As you move north, the slope decreases to less than 10 to 1, and under guidance document 91 or 90 or other, if it's less than 10 to 1, there is no coastal bank.
Okay.
And that's specifically where the floodplain line intercepts the landform. So yes, the slope above that, a little ways above that, transitions to something that's much steeper than 4 to 1. But but we're looking at, the delineation is done where the floodplain intercepts the landform.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Can I just follow up on that, just for my own continuing confusion after all these years? So it's a coastal bank because of the location of the floodplain, essentially? Because even though the nearest beach and water body is a half-mile away, it still qualifies?
For decades, the town of Barnstable would not consider this a coastal bank because they look at the state regulations and it says that the seaward face or side of an elevated landform. And when you have a floodplain that encroaches so far inland, it's no longer the seaward side or face.
Right.
But traditionally in Chatham, as well as Brewster and Orleans and the other neighboring towns, it's always a coastal bank, which doesn't follow the state definition because if it was always a coastal bank, they wouldn't have put the language seaward side or
Right,
face.
right.
It would be always a coastal bank. So it's something to discuss in the future.
Yeah.
But
I look at the aerial and I say, it's
Right,
not only
yeah.
half a mile, but it's, there's 10 other properties in between it, and
Yep.
How can that possibly be? And then I looked at where the floodplain was and said, that must be what's triggering this.
Yeah, there's a couple of houses on Bridge Street that have Olive Horns cottages in front of them, but
Right,
they're a coastal bank for.
right.
by
Same as up
definition.
on, up off of I guess it was Kochpennington or something. Up there, we had the same thing where it was really far away.
Yeah.
But it's still, okay, every time I see this, I scratch my head.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you for having two easy ones at the end.
See, you're gonna, see?
So,
And
Any way we can do this one on the first, since it's an easy one? We just
yes,
like to
get it
get
done.
started on this spring and run out
Okay.
of time.
I'll get
Go
it done.
first, yeah.
All right, if we could have a motion for the first for an order.
I move that we continue 10 Meadowview Road to the meeting on April 1st, 2026 for an order of conditions.
Second.
Bob,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
Elise.
Aye.
And I say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Bradford, the next, please.
The next is a discussion for possible irrigation requirement changes. We just need to vote to continue this to a date certain.
Yes, and what was the date that Teresa asked for?
She said mid-April, but she didn't provide an exact date.
Why don't we
so-
put her on the 22nd?
Okay, that works.
Because 4/8 isn't mid.
Yeah.
So, who's, okay, so if we could have a motion to continue the irrigation discussion to April 22nd, Paul.
I move that we continue the irrigation discussion to April 22nd, 2026.
Second.
Bob,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I say aye.
And I say aye, too.
Oh, and Elise. I did it again, darn it.
You down here.
I'm wanting to get out of here.
Am I
Okay, next, please.
Next is a discussion for Twine Fields Conservation Area.
Okay, do we have anybody here? I don't, not in the audience, but online? But I have a response, and if anybody has some questions after that. The question was about Twine Field and its usage because of, I believe, because of the project at, that Penrose is about to, well, is trying to put on Meeting House. So here it is. It was requested that Twine Field be added to an agenda for comment from the commission. Twine Field is a 7.5-acre protected meadow on Morton Road, managed under the conservation restriction held by the Chatham Conservation Foundation. The Town of Chatham Conservation Commission retains care and custody of the area under Chapter 40, Section 8C, a designation made at the time of the acquisition. It is to be retained in its natural, scenic, and undeveloped condition, allowing only passive recreation per the conservation restriction. At this time, the commission has not received any applications pertaining to Twine Field. If the commission does receive an application pertaining to the use of Twine Field, it will then be able to consider the application as it pertains to the use at that time and can entertain public comments. I don't know if anybody is on that has questions. I'm trying to get to see. I don't see any raised hands. Everything is on the town website, so you can find everything you want to know there for, as far as the restriction. Paul, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the Chatham Conservation Foundation is the grantee for the restriction, and they do interpret and give us written notice and so forth and so on. They'd be very involved with any activities that might occur out there that weren't aligned with the conservation restriction, which is on this website. You can find it on our town website for conservation areas and the restrictions there, all the information about Twine Fields there, the meadow management plans there, even a historical document on the acquisition back in 2014, I think it was. It was the largest piece of land left in the town, 7.5 acres, roughly, when the town acquired it. And there's another additional acre for parking off of Morton Road. But I'm surprised no one's here, because I think it was Mrs. Hicks that was
Yeah,
requested.
so
that we put it
nobody's on.
And the question was, how are we going to protect it?
Right. And right now, that's how we protect it with the
Yeah,
restriction.
it
And-
didn't get any more protection than it has. It's just,
What
Yeah.
are they after? Not another
Well, she's
affordable
not
housing?
here to-
No,
Well, they
my-
want to,
Yeah,
there
go
was mention, I believe, that in order, when you put in affordable housing, you must have open space with like a playground and such. And from what I know, when they presented to the Preservation Committee, I think they were hoping to put in a playground or use it for that requirement.
This town's got more playgrounds than Boston.
Right, but it's a requirement, when you put in any affordable housing, it must have its own own area.
Yeah.
So that's why, and that's why I think she came to us to find out how we would protect it.
Yeah, I did want to clarify that with Sarah, and there's two paths that sort of lead from the development right up to the edge of Twine Fields. I did ask Sarah about that requirement, which I thought there was. There is nothing in the 40B statute that
okay.
requires it, but I guess they saw it as an amenity to the proposed development. So
Okay.
that's how it kind of came to us. Again, I'm surprised no one's here because they asked us to put it on, and then,
And we let them know.
yeah.
So hopefully they'll watch this.
Yeah.
And if they have further questions, they can ask that be put on a future agenda as well.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Having done that, we have one more motion.
Yes?
Yes?
While we're on the record, I wanted to bring up the pools. How are people the pool owners have a pump on the pool. I mean, the cover collects water, and then you got to pump the water off. So,
They have a pool equipment area.
no, people that have a pool, you have
Oh.
a pump that sits on it, and then they have a hose and sticks out, and they dump the water out of it. No, the water that collects on the cover when it rains. They have pumps on top, and it just shoots the water out. So how are they not pervious?
Yeah, that's a good
I mean, it's impossible. The people don't leave their pool covers open when it rains. They close them, and then the water sits. And then those pumps, when it rains heavy, they sag down the covers, and you have to pump it off.
We've had this conversation so many times. Pools are impervious. You know, the fact that it can collect an inch or so of rain, if it were open, which is not generally, is irrelevant because it's
They shouldn't be
pervious is the ability to get down and reach the groundwater and ultimately, and pools, ain't doing that. But they pump it, I guess, and disperse it.
Yeah, you just pump it off to the side.
Isn't that the same as a patio then? Yes. Exactly the same. Yeah.
Still, the
So-
water has to go somewhere.
I think,
Go somewhere.
I think what I'm hearing is
Well, it's
maybe we
going
need
right
to
into-
look at
yeah.
our regulations pertaining to
This
pools.
pool has to be really carefully ordered.
That's another thing to look at.
None
So
of
I will put that on the list.
Pools are in.
They are, and we will add it and maybe have a discussion, and people can come. We'll add it to an agenda, and people can come and give us their opinion. Okay, one more motion.
I move that we adjourn the hearing.
Second.
Bob?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
And I say aye.